That new Joker trailer has me so fucking hyped. And I don't usually get hyped about trailers. My boy Bryce, my cousin, he reacts to trailers and whatnot. And nothing has excited me but this Joker trailer 100% has. And it's excited me because it makes me feel as though it gives me hope that good movies are coming back. I don't feel like anything is good. And I started thinking it was me because everybody talks about this movie, this show, and they get excited about it. And I don't get excited about it. And I was like, okay, am I turning to some like pretentious, rewardless fuck? Like, am I the dumb? Am I the problem here? But the fact that that Joker trailer excited me when I'm not even somebody who is a fan per se. Like I'm not anti DC. I'm not anti Joker. I'm just indifferent to the DC universe. For somebody like me to watch that Joker trailer and get so fucking excited and happy and to be so, I was inspired because I also like to create, and they were just such great artistic elements to that trailer. And it inspired me again. I realized, like, not movies like Drive and whatnot, who where the director takes this artistic license and tries to not make it simply just a film of action and violence, but they tried to make it something more. They tried to make it something that affects you. I respect that and love that so much because I feel like that's lacking. I feel like that's missing. Movies nowadays, what they tend to do, and to me, clearly what their effort is, they just want to appeal to the masses. To me, what it seems like, what they say is, how can we make this movie appeal to as many people as possible? I feel like movies in the past used to take more risks because they just wanted to make a good movie and you kind of had to like it. You kind of had no choice but to see this movie with this particular artistic flair to it. Even if you're more primitive appetites, your more dumb, basic, simplistic appetites just wanted to see some explosions and something super simple, you had no choice but to see the movie that has levels of sophistication to it. But now they are catering. It's like our music. Like I said, the two words that to describe today's music to me are lazy and uninspired. And I feel like that's the movies also of today. They're lazy and uninspired. But they churn them out as fast as possible. They're all remakes and shit. Now, listen, the Joker could have easily fell prey to this cycle because it's not an original in the sense that, like, it's not this original character that we never heard of. It's part of this. It's part of that universe, and it's that character that we're so used to, and that it's funny how we don't get desensitized to people like the Joker or even those in the Marvel universe. How many? But like some people are saying, how many more fucking times are we gonna hear the Spider-Man origin? We better not see the Spider-Man origin again. For real. Nobody wants to see Uncle Ben get killed again. And so with the Joker, it's kind of like, what can you do now? Now, from what I understand, because I am ignorant of the DC universe and the DC storylines, this particular plot it follows what was his name, Frank Miller, Mr. Miller, whoever it is that is the writer of these particular storylines. It follows a specific plot where the Joker starts out as this nice guy, or this guy that's trying to make it, and then he eventually evolves and becomes evil. It veers away from that classic him in the vat of acid kind of thing, or whatever. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But okay, so I'll move away from that. But I will say that it could have just been another fucking, like, okay, yeah, thank you for feeding us some more DC related things. What excites me? I don't know what's going to happen in this movie, but the prospect of, I like realism. I like when, like, one of my favorite movies is Unbreakable because of when that fighting scene, when he's choking the guy out in that woman's in not the woman's home, but in that house where that psychopath killed the husband and the wife, and the two young girls were tied up. When Bruce Willis just has that psychopath in that chokehold, and that in and of itself, that simplicity of him just holding on to him and getting banged against the wall while this orchestral music swells and swells. It's one of the most beautiful and haunting scenes that I've ever seen. I love it. It was so impactful, and I love that kind of realistic flair to things. That's why Kick-Ass was so dope. There was realistic elements to Kick-Ass too. TOO, not TWO. I'm not Kick-Ass 2. I don't know about that one, but Kick-Ass number 1 had that. I like it when I don't feel like I'm watching a superhero movie, when I don't feel as though I'm looking at a green screen. And a lot of movies try to achieve this these days, but a lot of them also fall short. But what I love about the Joker trailer is that it looked like I was looking at a movie, a film, okay? It looked like it was a film about Joker, not some fucking blockbuster movie. Now, while it's gonna surely make millions and millions of dollars, that's fine, great. But I like how it doesn't try to be anything more spectacular than that, at least from the side of it. Now, you might say, hey, the first movies with Batman with Christian Bale, what is it, The Dark Knight, they try to achieve that as well, and they did achieve that. The one, especially the one with the Joker, with Heath Ledger's Joker. Yeah, but I will say that I'm not a fan of the Bane Batman, and I'm not a fan of the first one either. The fight scenes in that first one, that very first one, the one prior to the Heath Ledger Joker, man, oh man, the fight scenes. I remember seeing that movie in the theater and just literally looking to my left, looking to my right, and thinking to myself, this movie was horrible, right? All right, the fighting scenes were horrible. You know, the movie wasn't horrible. The movie wasn't horrible. But the fighting scenes were so chaotic and so choppily edited that it was absurd. Now, I was blown away by Heath Ledger's rendition of the Joker, and I will say, just for that movie gets an A+. Just for that version of the Joker and his acting and his portrayal of the Joker, I have nothing bad to say about that film. But it does achieve that realistic element to it. And I want film back. I want good movies, good acting. You know, acting that knocks you off your ass. It says something that a lot of actors that are really good aren't from America either. I feel like it makes me scared for America's appetite, for their palate. We go see these dumb ass movies that are just filled with explosions, that it's not even about it having violence. Michael Mann's Heat with Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Val Kilmer, and God, I want to say Tom Sizemore, but I feel like I get Tom Sizemore mixed up with this other gentleman. Whatever. But the point is that the movie Heat had violence in it, but I would still call that a sophisticated form of violence. I would still put that in category of film. There was still something about it that transcended what you would call just the mindless and the more superficial and overly simplistic kinds of entertainment. Heat still had levels. I'm gonna keep you sophistication, man. There was effort to it. There was angles, there was cinematography, there was acting, there was dialogue, there was storyline, there was everything in that fucking movie. And the best gunfiring sequences that I've probably ever seen in a film. It was so realistic and so dope, and but it was going somewhere, and it had some kind of artistic flair, man. And what do I consider? If it just makes you feel, that Joker trailer made me feel something. Make me feel. Don't just, I think by the way, I feel like a lot of people are just uncomfortable now with feeling. They're uncomfortable with feeling. When I watched, not to bring up another M. Night Shyamalan film, when I had seen, not Split, it was Split. And when James McAvoy's character came in the room dressed up as the woman, and so if you're not familiar, in Split, James McAvoy's character has multiple personalities, and one of his personalities is this woman, and she's very prudish and religious, and she had this like a mock turtleneck or something with a skirt. And I remember this one guy in there was like, what the fuck? Laughing and stuff, right? And to me, and here's the thing, I just imagine that a lot of people in theaters reacted that way. Even at home, they were just like, oh, this is goofy, this is stupid. To me, that shit was frightening and cool and dope and freaky. It's not funny. Like, what? Like, yeah, laugh, okay, laugh. You have your right to feel what you want to feel. But do you understand the gravity of this situation? Of these girls being in this precarious circumstance and their lives being on the line? And this man, dressed up as a woman, now comes in behaving 100% as this specific kind of woman. Do you not understand how nightmarish that is? And yet, like, you're laughing at, because you're just looking at it in this superficial way. Another thing people laughed at was listen, I know Once Upon a Time in Hollywood had purposely had laughable elements to it. I know the comedic elements. He definitely did that. But it bothered me that when Leonardo DiCaprio's character finally delivered a good performance, and the little girl told him that was the best acting she's ever seen, and Leonardo DiCaprio's character started like welling up, people were laughing in the theater. People were laughing, and I was like, all right, like, I was tearing up. I was tearing up at that. I was like, this is beautiful. Everything leading up to it was funny. There's a lot of goofiness. Yes, there's a lot of goofiness, but don't you see the redemption in this? And isn't this more beautiful and funny? Like, what the fuck are y'all laughing at? Like, no, trust me, there's other instances where I've seen and heard people in theaters. That's why I hate going to the fucking theater when it's crowded at all. People are laughing at everything. Stuff that's not even necessarily like funny. It's just, they're so fucking uncomfortable. Or they're so, like, they just don't know how to feel anything but this joy juice. Like, hee. Like, not dare to fucking shed a tear. Dare to feel sad and bad. Or just to let the movie take you away and feel whatever. But it's just, I think it's just, it's a bit suspicious. It's a bit suspicious that people laugh so much at shit that's not necessarily funny. And it's like, why is that your response? And the reason why I think it's even as suspicious as it is, because we're in this fucking cringe. Everybody cringes at everything. They can't watch anything because it's so cringe. I was watching this one fucking web series. If you might be familiar with it, it's called Jake and Amir. I used to watch it back like when I was really, really young. I had returned to some of their episodes, and it still holds up. Jake and Amir has some. It's pretty funny, and it's very well acted. It's goofy stuff. It's like straight man, crazy man kind of stuff. But it's really good. And in the comics, sometimes they do some more serious stuff, and just all kinds of things. There's levels to what they're doing. And people in the comment section of the more serious kinds of exchanges and stuff, and when they're talking about more serious subjects or subjects that hit close to home and that are less goofy and more real, people talk about how uncomfortable it makes them, how much they cringe, they can't watch it. It's not real, motherfucker. You can't look at it as the art that it is. You're so uncomfortable. I understand watching a clip of someone getting brutalized by the police. I don't know, a clip of people fighting in real life. But you can't, for a moment, clock out of your discomfort zone and let art take you away. Let the art do what it wants with you. I think people are scared to feel. It makes you so uncomfortable. No, it's making you feel something. It's fucking making you feel something. That's what you're uncomfortable towards. That's what you're cringing at. There's this one particular episode where, yeah, this dude Jake was trying to get Amir's girlfriend. Amir had a girlfriend, and Jake was trying to steal her. And it was well acted. But it was still just so. It was fantastical at the same time. It was obviously not real. It was clearly fictitious. But people are so cringe. They're so comfortable. Oh, I cringed. No, what you're feeling is a level of discomfort towards the prospect of somebody stealing another person's girlfriend, and that's fine. Feel, let yourself feel, but just to completely to try to oversimplify it, or to try to escape it, to be dismissive of it, because what they're saying is, this makes me cringe, I don't want to watch it. This makes me cringe, therefore it's bad. They're applying a negative to it as a result of the cringe. Maybe that's not the best example, but I promise you, every fucking thing. I look at a lot of film clips. People talk about how much they cringe at this, cringe at that. Y'all are some fucking pussies. And that's coming from a pussy. I'm a pussy. I fear a lot of stuff. I have social anxieties of sorts. I have all kinds of paranoias, and I'm off. But that's saying something. When I look at other people, I'm like, God. Y'all are spoiled and so comfortable that you can't, one thing, I'll tell you one example of the beauty of recognizing something as art. The movie 12 Years a Slave, I watched it multiple times. Now, that movie's a bit more understandable as to why some people can't watch that movie. It's like, I knew somebody that was like, I'm not watching that. I can't watch it. It's an old black guy. And he didn't want to watch it. And I was like, I understand. It hit too close. He grew up at a time when there was racism, where he experienced prejudice towards him as a result of him being black. And it just hit too close to home. I got you. And, it's like somebody being traumatized from, let's say, sexual assault and not being able to watch a movie that had that in it. Okay, I got it. But the reason why I can watch 12 Years a Slave so many times, or I have watched it so many times, is because it's so artistic that it strikes that perfect balance of realism and art. First of all, it's based off a true story. And it's just artistic enough and just real enough to where it's as if I'm looking at a movie, it's as if I'm looking at a stage play. And imagine yourself, instead of watching a movie in the theater, you're watching something being acted out on stage. And it can still touch you and affect you. It might even affect you profoundly and deeply. But there's no way that you can, you can't really be so uncomfortable as to be like, oh, this is just too real. Because it's like, this is obvious actors. Like, they're live in front of you, and there's no mistake about it there's no mistake about it being fictitious. Now, with a movie, it's different. With a movie, it can hit you differently, and it could, just swindle your perspective and your sensibilities, and it can make you feel like it's way more real than it should be. But the thing about 12 Years a Slave is that, to me, it's so theatrical. Like, the acting is so theater-like. The cinematography, now it's not theater-like, but the cinematography is so film-like. Everything about it screams art, despite the subject matter being so serious. Everything about it, to me, just screams art. And so, when I watch it, although it makes me cry multiple times, and although it makes me just feel the pain, feel the anguish, it's art. It's like when that Joker trailer, it's art. I feel bad for Joaquin Phoenix. I feel bad for the Joker in that. I'm looking at him, and he's clearly already, you could just get the gist of, he's being fucked over, and this world is just is being cruel towards him, and it's not helping him. It's only bringing him closer to psychopathy, bringing him closer to malevolence. But it's so well done that it's just let yourself go and enter into that different zone. That zone where you're looking at something as the art that it is. As opposed to, it's just uncomfortable. You're too in your own fucking head. The way I look at good films, I look at it as me putting my heart on the table, and the film gets to do whatever it wants to me. or it gets it manipulates my heart however it sees fit. To look at it as anything other than that, it just really annoys me that people are cringing at everything. It's everything. I see that. I am annoyed. I'm angry. I am angry at the fact that cringe is so ubiquitous, that it's so readily applied to anything that makes anybody feel anything. Y'all don't want to fucking feel, because feeling makes you feel. You know what feeling does? You know what the problem with feeling is and why it's so scary? Because it can change your perspectives. It can change how you view things. It can change who you are if you feel. It can change your thoughts. It can bring new thoughts. And that's scary. What you are is you're scared. You're scared to change. You're scared of change. You're too comfortable. You're spoiled. But I digress, all right? I digress on that. And so, but ultimately, my point about this whole video was just to talk about how appreciative I am. And it's only about it's just a trailer. It's just a trailer. But I'm so appreciative and thankful that something like the Joker trailer does exist. And from what we're seeing, I'm glad that they had that artistic flair to it. I appreciate the good acting. I appreciate that it looks like a film and not like a fucking movie. And I hope that there's more films and less movies. You know what I'm saying? I hope that there's more films that have artistic flair. Even if it fails, man. Even if it fails, like, just give me some artistic fucking flair, please. Like, give me something to make me feel, please. All right. I'm done. Namaste.